Imagine standing on a wide, grassy field overlooking a mighty river, where two armies are about to clash in a battle that will change history. This was the scene at the Battle of the Plains of Abraham in 1759, just outside the walls of Quebec City. This battle wasn't just a fight between Britain and France. It was a turning point that shaped the future of Canada. In this video, we'll uncover why the battle happened, how it unfolded, and why it still matters today. Brought to you by Super Simple Sheets. From coast to coast, worksheets that work. Discover the full range of what we offer at supersimplesheets.com. Section 1. Why did the battle happen? To understand the Battle of the Plains of Abraham, we need to go back to the rivalry between Britain and France. By the 1700s, both countries wanted to control North America's valuable resources, like fur and timber. This rivalry turned into a full-scale conflict called the 7 Years' War. In North America, the war was often called the French and Indian War because France had many indigenous allies. The French controlled much of what we now call Quebec and the Mississippi Valley, while the British ruled the 13 colonies along the Atlantic coast. Quebec City was the heart of New France, sitting high above the St. Lawrence River. If the British could capture Quebec City, they could take control of New France. In 1759, British General James Wolfe set his sights on this strategic city. Section 2. The battle itself. The battle itself began in the early morning of September 13, 1759. British General James Wolfe and his troops had spent weeks planning a risky assault. The British army quietly climbed steep cliffs under the cover of darkness to reach the Plains of Abraham, a flat field just outside the city's walls. The French, led by General Louis-Joseph de Montcalm, were caught off guard. They rushed to meet the British on the plains. The two sides faced off in a battle that lasted less than half an hour. The British used a tactic called the Thin Red Line, where their soldiers fired in disciplined rows, one line shooting while another reloaded. This strategy proved devastating to the French forces, who struggled to respond with equal organization. Both Wolfe and Montcalm were wounded during the battle, and neither lived to see its aftermath. Wolfe died on the battlefield just as his troops secured victory, while Montcalm passed away the next day in Quebec City. Despite its short duration, the battle was decisive. The British gained control of the plains, forcing the French to retreat into the city. Section 3. What happened after the battle? The British victory at the Plains of Abraham was a turning point in the 7 Years' War. Quebec City surrendered soon after, and within a year, the British controlled most of New France. The war officially ended with the Treaty of Paris in 1763. France gave up almost all its territories in North America, handing Canada over to Britain. This was a major shift for the French-speaking people of Quebec, who found themselves living under British rule. This change wasn't just about politics. It shaped Canada's identity. French culture and language remained strong, creating the bilingual and multicultural Canada we know today. Section 4. The people and stories behind the battle. The Battle of the Plains of Abraham isn't just about generals and strategies. It's also about the people who lived through it. One story is that of James Wolfe. Before the battle, Wolfe reportedly told his officers that he'd rather die fighting for victory than live without glory. His death on the battlefield turned him into a British hero, but it also symbolized the high cost of war. Another perspective comes from the French civilians in Quebec City, who endured incredible hardships during the British siege. Food shortages, bombardments, and fear of the unknown were constant challenges. Even though they weren't soldiers, they were deeply affected by the battle and its aftermath. And let's not forget the Indigenous allies of both the French and the British. Many Indigenous nations were drawn into the conflict because of alliances and promises made by the European powers. While they fought bravely, the outcome of the war ultimately changed their lives and lands forever. Conclusion. The Battle of the Plains of Abraham lasted only minutes, but its impact shaped Canada for centuries. It marked the beginning of British control over the land we know today and laid the foundation for Canada's unique cultural identity. As we remember this pivotal moment, the grassy plains outside Quebec City remind us of how even the shortest battles can leave lasting marks on history. Thanks for watching. Simplify your teaching journey with super simple sheets. Across Canada, we're known for our ready-to-use, curriculum-aligned worksheets. Dive into our educational solutions at supersimplesheets.com. Super Simple Sheets. From coast to coast, worksheets that work.